G'day folks. Well, my producer Bob Grief, who I've given plenty of grief to over the years, told me last week to get rid of the safety vest. Good idea, Bob. I nearly got bowled right over again this morning on a footpath by a bloke riding a bike. But anyhow, got a great show for you, which is just normal for Bob. Geoff Hall is from the Goulburn Valley Fly Fishing Centre. Well, he's retired and handed over to Anthony, but I drift down the majestic Goulburn with Geoff and we get some nice fish on the fly. Now, Steve and Bushy go to a place called Howard Springs. I think I know Howard Springs. I reckon I went to school with him 65 years ago, but Howard Springs has got a beautiful dam and the boys run into some super Australian fish called Barramundi. Now, John Pearce is in Thailand and some beautiful islands in the great waters of the seas around this magnificent country. And we see some wonderful sailfish come out of pristine water. The Great Australian Bight is again the scene for Steve and Bushy completing their road trip. And my goodness me, Steve, he's gone into the wrestling business. Not a good move, Stephen, I tell you now, to wrestle with the big, big whaler shark. Folks, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like my vest, because Bob, I got about as much chance as growing hair as I have of not wearing this vest. And good afternoon to that cyclist. Thank you very much.
G'day folks, and thanks for tuning the dial. If you like fishing, you've come to the right place. Let's wet a line together. Look at that! The old bearded birdler, he's in his element. Threw it into his mouth. Unbelievable, mate.
It's just like nature. It's what we're all about.
I tell you what,
This is just fantastic.
Wagons, ho! Oh, thank your mother for the rabbits.
Just when they think it's safe to come out, it's not an animal!
Bang!
I guess in the end, that's probably why we all go fishing.
Haha, Jeffrey.
How are you, Rex?
Well, mate, I'm like a kid in a lolly shop.
We're going to have a great day, don't
Good to
worry
see
about
you.
it.
Folks, this is Geoff Hall, part of the partnership with David Pickering, who is Goulburn Valley Fly Fishing Centre at Thornton on the banks of the Goulburn River, around about 15 k's from Lake Eildon.
That's absolutely right, Rex, and we've got magnificent water here.
It is nice, and I tell you what, it looks in magnificent condition. What do you got in mind?
A drift down to the breakaway, about 15 k's. We'll be stopping off at a few places. We've got a great lunch for you as well.
This sounds fantastic. He's playing my music. Folks, where's the bloke who was wearing that?
Well, actually, I brought this for you, Rex.
Did you?
You're going to have to wear a life jacket
Double
because,
XL.
yes, we insist on safety.
That's good. I'm going to get home. Let's go fishing.
Rightio, Rex, here we go.
Very, very
you
nice.
get in the
Jeffrey.
front there. No
Rubber
problem.
ducky. Been a while since I've had a rubber ducky, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
In the bath when I was a kid. Rubber ducky, you're the one. Now, do you want a couple of blokes to give you a hand there?
No, it's no problem, and we're rolling.
Beautiful.
Let it drift right in. It doesn't matter if you get hooked, I'll just paddle over and get you off. Okay, and pick up. That's the one. Off the seam of the current, beautiful. Let it go. Now we're coming into fishy areas. You can see that alongside the quiet water.
Yeah.
I like to sit in the current reverse. He's on. He's a baby.
It doesn't matter.
He's
He
a
can be. He can be 6 pound, I don't care. The fact is,
He slammed that hopper like it was the last feed. He was-
artificial grasshopper with rubbery legs like mine, and he took it.
He took it like it was the last feed he was ever going to have. Now that's Madam X meets Nobby Hopper.
Look at that. Hey, what a pretty fish.
Well, the American fly, the Madam X, has got big rubber legs, as you can imagine. There's all sorts of stories about Madam X.
Yeah.
And that's the Nobby Hopper, and we've put the two together to make a great fly.
He's only tiny, folks, but I tell you what, we're selling the sizzle here. The smell of the steak, the sizzle of a feed. The next fish might be bigger. Jeffrey, I don't really think it matters, do you?
No, it's great to see them take like that, isn't it?
This is piscatorial heaven, folks.
Now, as we come around here, there's another nice grasshopper bank, and then we tail out over a shallow gravel run.
Right.
And they're in the gravel run, but just check this bank here, plop it 3 or 4 times. Dong it down hard, that's the one. Let it sit, let it sit, let it sit. Pick it up and dong it down again. Okay, slowly search your way out onto the gravel. But fish can't wear sunglasses, so they don't like looking into the sun for long periods, so often the edge of the shadow is the place to fish. Okay, and then once we get through here, fish that ripple to the right.
Yeah, I'm with you. Very fishy looking water.
Isn't it lovely?
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
It just needs more stock, that's
Yeah,
all.
it does need more stock.
Well, we'll leave this bit, Rex.
Yeah.
And we'll head on down. Okay, have a look at what's ahead of us now. There we go. Now what we're going to do is cut across the fast water there.
Yep.
And come in on the gravel bank on the left-hand side. Over onto the edge of the shadow to the right where that fish rose, Rex. That's the one. Beautiful. Let it drift. Nice chance, righto. Nothing doing. Right. 5 or 6 dobs down along the tussocks. Beautiful, beautiful. Take that, you brown, spotty-nosed little slimy creature. Okay, let's head on down. I mean, we could spend hours on it, but
Couldn't you?
there's a million miles to do. Straight ahead of the boat now. Nice. Okay. He's on! Whoa! He took the wolf, did he?
Yeah, he did. Oh, dear me. Look at that.
Well, there you go, Rex. It's just like shelling peas, isn't it? There he is. He's taken the royal wolf, the dry fly off the top.
Off the top. Well, a beautiful little naturally bred brown trout. Isn't he just lovely? Just walk that down like there's no tomorrow. See if I can get that out of your throat, mate. And just stop wriggling for me for a moment. There you go. Beautiful little brown trout. Well, there you are. An interesting river and an interesting way to do it. The method, the dry fly, is not the initial attractant to the fish. It's the nymph underneath. And we thought that's the way we'd catch our first fish. But this bloke, he saw the royal wolf. Might be a little bit of a tribute to Mike Spry. I first used a royal wolf in the swampy plains up on the border of New South Wales and Victoria. I reckon this is not a bad river for a Victorian river.
Matches up pretty well, doesn't it, Rex?
It's nice to be here, folks. Hope you're enjoying it like we are.
All right, here we go. We'll go out here and we'll drop into the next bay further down. Now hook up on a fish here. This is all we need. In that little solitary green tussock here,
Yeah.
sitting in the water, we'll duck in behind that, and there's a backwater. We'll go in there and stalk it. Yep. It's time to change, Rex. There's a nice bit of nymphing water coming up here.
Righto.
I'll just get you this rig going.
So grassy bank hopper.
Yes, and then gravel bed with a nymph.
Sounds right to me, mate.
So there's your rod ready to roll.
Thank you.
Swap you over. That line might be knotted up on your reel there. Oh no, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right. I've got one arm paper hanger here.
This is known as Leak's Lagoon because Colonel Leak, who owned this property, was a colourful local character, and this piece of water was often in contention, and so it's always been referred to as the Colonel's Lagoon or Leak's Lagoon.
Quite unique, isn't it? A Goulburn lake, so to speak.
Yes, it's a cut-off and a branch. There's a fish, Rex. Look, see him cruising?
I can.
He's a good one too.
He's onto us, isn't he?
Oh, we spooked him, but there'll be more like him out here. So here's a chance. It's absolute. One.
Yeah.
Look, there he is. He's coming our way.
Yeah.
About 2 metres off. He's got it. Give it to him. He's on. He's on. You've got him. That's it. Keep your rod high. Keep your rod high.
Oh, nice fish.
Yes, he's a nice fish.
Look
He's
at
a
him.
good one.
Yeah.
He's an excellent fish.
Wasn't he a beauty?
And
Well, folks, you heard me say, oh, Geoff, there's a fish coming towards my fly. I hope he doesn't see me. And to actually share that with someone was just sensational. Sharing it with you.
yes, and it was so visible. You know, it's
it
that
was.
eyeball stuff that is
It
so
was.
exciting when you see him come from a metre away towards your
Yeah,
fly.
yeah,
Makes
yeah.
your hair stand up, doesn't it?
What?
Well, I'll speak it. Well, watch the fish. He's a lovely fish, Rex. Look at the size of that.
He's as wild as you come.
Yeah, look at that.
wild as you comes. Well, I said to you, Geoff, I said, there's a fish a metre from the fly, and you said, where? And then you said, oh my gosh, or something to that effect.
Yes.
And he's inhaled it. What I'm glad about is that a lot of our young people out there fish dry as the same as wet. They
Yes.
get a take and they go bang and they're just pulling it away from the
Yeah.
fish, but you've got to give them time.
Yes, and he'll take it right deep down into his mouth, press it against his palate, then there's a chance that he'll expel it, and that's when you set the hook, and that's
Yeah.
brilliant. Hey,
Yeah.
put it there. Hey, that's brilliant. That's
But
fantastic.
he's inhaled that like I inhaled that beautiful lunch that that David made us on the bank there, just near the lagoon. But, oh gee, this is what I'm on about. In the 60s and 70s, Bob Gibb and I used to come up here, and we used to consistently get fish like that. You know, 2 or 3 of these fish we would have a chance at each day.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that the fish are here.
Yes, they certainly are. And this is
Look at
world-class fishing. Look at that. Well, we better check his weight. Just disconnect that.
Oh, gee me.
And he's over a kilo, Rex.
Is he really?
Yes, he's over a kilo. I'll just hand him to you to hold for a moment once I get the hook out.
Gee, I tell you what, you're catching whiting and you get a bag limit in a couple of hours, or you're catching salmon off the surf one after the other, but this is stalking, this is hunting, isn't it? It's probably more hunting than fishing.
Yes, it's that ability to eyeball the fish, and it's you and him. And oh boy, he's got that
Was he
grasshopper right down. There we go, Rex. Just cradle him in your hands. And there he goes. And that's what he took.
Yeah.
Look at that. And he inhaled that down. I think it's time he went back, don't you?
Well, he said 2, and away he goes. Hey, what about your kiss? Hey, our first date.
He's heard about your kisses from other fish, Rex. That's what he's done.
I tell you what,
He didn't want to be kissed, that one.
it wasn't easy, folks, but we won.
On your Rex. Let's go and do it again.
Oh, again, thank you very much. We made it. Well done, Jeffrey. Well folks, from Thornton Bridge to the Breakaway Bridge. If you're doing it on foot, you'd need a water bag, I can tell you now. And as the sun starts to set in the west over one of the great rivers of Australia, some of the locals taking advantage of daylight saving to spin up or fly up a lovely trout. It's been good of you, Geoff, and I tell you, it's been a privilege to fish one of the world's great rivers with you.
It's been fantastic, Rex.
Good to
Glad
see
you
you.
had a good day.
I did. Geoff Hall and his partner David Pickering have made a commitment to make sure that the next generation can enjoy, as I said, one of the world's great rivers. They're at the Goulburn Valley Fly Fishing Centre at Thornton. Call in for a cup of tea. And if you want a yarn or a chat, you've gone to the right place. This has been fantastic, folks. G'day, folks, and thanks for tuning the dial.
At least we didn't have to walk as far as we did in England to get to that Diva Springs, eh?
I told you we shouldn't have gone past that last service station. When they say empty, they're empty.
Well, look, this is it. What's this?
Dogs, cats, that's you. Fish.
No, fish is me too, I think. Yeah, she's a sticky one.
Yeah, it's warm.
It build up to the wet season, the clouds are starting to come in. It won't be long until it starts raining.
What stir the fish up though, a bit of that overcast?
Might indeed, and the raising temperature. It's supposed to be 3,000 barramundi here in a lake about 3 acres, so even we should be able to catch one, Bushy.
Yeah, well, don't tell anyone, but I don't care if they are surrounded. I want to catch them.
This is the Barramundi farm near Howard Springs, about 32 kilometres outside Darwin. And Rob Roos, the owner of the place, gave me a call and said, you've got to come out here and check out my little man-made billabong stocked with barramundi. He guaranteed us a fish, and that's something Bushy and I can't knock back. Come on, mate. Now Rob tells us that he doesn't actually feed the fish in this lake. There's enough natural food in here to sustain them. But what they particularly like are these high protein pellets. And whilst it's not exactly kosher from fly fishing point of view, is it, Bushy? Sticking one on the hook.
I'm going to leave my glasses on so no one can see me.
You're incognito today, mate. I'm going to throw one of these pellets in. They're floating pellets. You throw one in too, Bushy, and we'll see. Bushy cheated and threw a few in.
Well, that's cheap.
They're supposed to... Oh, yes. I think they like them. I'll slip the sunnies on and we'll just pop one of these pellets out there on the fly gear. I think this is going to work, Bushy.
I hope it works. Oh, come on, fishy, mine.
Oh, mine's slowly sinking.
He's looking. Look at that. He stuck his nose up right underneath it.
He must have seen the leader.
They aren't silly. That fish came right up like that and sat an inch under my pellet. And he said, that is not a kosher pellet.
Oh, there's
He's
one,
looking.
Bushy.
He
Oh, you
spooked.
rejected it again.
Steve cunningly spooked him with the end of his rod.
That's it.
Right, there's some more real ones. A lot of these fish have been caught and released before, and it just shows you that even in the wild, they learn very, very quickly. Once they've been caught a couple of times, they get a lot harder to catch. And these ones here have been done a few times. They are not silly.
Oh,
Yes!
got him. Well done, Bushy.
We have a barramundi.
Oh, that's great. Nice fish.
Yeah, they're good fish, aren't they?
Now,
They
Rob
still
tells
fight
us... Oh, look at that. Apparently, we don't just let it go straight in here, Bushy. Rob comes down and gets it, and he's got some saltwater tanks up there, highly oxygenated saltwater tanks that he puts the fish in and lets them recover for a little while, which is a great idea.
We'll just pick him up here and give you a bit of a look at him. I think that won't matter. Just cradle him gently. That's very important with barramundi, that you handle them nicely. Keep them nice and flat and don't squeeze them. Well, we'll put him in the salt and get him back going for another day. All right, amazing. Fishing in a little pond full of barramundi, but it's certainly no soda. It's still the rules of fishing apply. Now, we'll sort of see if we can get one for Steve. I'll do everything I can to sabotage him, but I reckon he'll probably catch one. One on the bottom.
Oh.
Is that going to get to the bottom? I think had him.
Yee! What a performer.
Oh! Oh! Oh, he's jumped into the weeds. Come on.
I tell you what, they go hard, Bushy.
Gee, they jump well. Oh.
Aren't they nice silvery fish? You'd think coming out of this fresh water they might be a bit darker than that, but they're beautiful fish.
Gee, they've got some strength. They've gone into those weeds.
There's no actual snags much in here, not much in the way of solid structure, but very thick weed beds, and that's part of the reason that this is such a rich and prolific fishery, because all the little shrimps and the small fish and other little organisms live in that weed, and that's what these barra are feeding on. Oh, what a lovely fish, Bushy. There's a thick-bodied fish I'll land him for you, mate. Don't lift it by the jaw, I tell you what. Look how solid. Have a look on the front of that fish, just how thick it is through the shoulders. Little close set eyes there. Now, this is a really good way to catch a barra, whether you catch it in the wild or in a pay-to-fish fishery like this one.
Well, that's just about it for another week, folks. We'll see you somewhere soon in the wonderful world of fishing.
Look at that!
The old bearded birdler, he's in his element.
Threw it into his mouth. Unbelievable, mate.
It's just like nature. It's what we're all about.
I tell you what,
This is just fantastic.
Wagons, ho! Oh,
Thank your mother for the rabbits.
just when they think it's safe to come out, another animal! Bang!
I guess in the end, that's probably why we all go fishing.
G'day folks and welcome to Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures. And this is the second part of our look at the Great Australian Bight in Western Australia. And last week Steve and Bushy really found a fishing paradise. Let's look back and refresh our memory.
Okay, this is the deep bit, boys. Hang on. Alright, I think this will do it. Nice flat spot. I reckon that was a dead heat.
No, mine definitely hit the shore first.
So how about that, folks? Let's now share together a unique experience.
Well, we've finally got here. I've had a beautiful sleep. The moon's been out. Company in the tent wasn't all that good, but I've had a great night. I had the brekkie, I'm ready to go. Only one slight thing yet. There's apparently a 300-foot drop to get down there. Now, Arthur, you've saved my life on the sandboarding.
Thanks, mate.
What do I got to do to get down this ladder?
Thanks, mate. Look, it's pretty easy, really. You just don't look down, hang on, and count to 300.
Count to 300.
300 steps and you'll be down there.
Oh.
There's ladders and ropes, so it's not really difficult. Just take it easy and you'll be okay.
Oh, you are joking. You have got to be kidding me, mate. Where do we really go? I'm not going down there.
Well, there it is, Bushy. What do you reckon?
Oh, you are joking. I'm not going down there. There's no way.
Have a look.
Oh, salmon.
There's salmon down there, mate.
Oh, I still don't want to go down
And look
there.
behind them.
Oh, the shark. Big sharky.
Don't think about it. Put these gloves on.
Oh, God, that's a long way down there, mate.
It's a long way, but we
Not
take
a
it one
fine-
step at a time.
Yeah.
Go down backwards, put your feet one after the other, just glance over your shoulder, and once you've got a spot, put your foot down on it. You'll get down to another section, new rope, a lot stronger, and there's a little traverse. You go across that traverse, don't look down, then you're on ladders, and it's the rest is really easy.
Really easy.
No problem at all.
All right, with this really strong rope tied to this rusty peg, Arthur.
Yeah, it won't break, guaranteed. I'll go first, and then you come behind. I'll take the rods so you've got your hands free, and we'll see on the bottom.
Okay.
Go for it, Arthur.
I'm not going in there.
No, you're going across there.
No way.
You sure?
Yep, still not doing it. That's fine. I'll start at the top. You can just say I wussed out. Down there.
Whew. Well, I'm about halfway down, and I guess in many ways the worst of it is behind me, but I'm still going to be very careful. I got to tell you, my palms are a little bit clammy in these gloves, and I've got a bit of a tremble in the knees. Now, Bushy has opted to remain on top. He got part of the way down, didn't like the look of it, didn't like the look of the gear that we were climbing on, and decided to stay on top. And I tell you what, I admire him for making that decision. Sometimes it takes a bigger man to say that he doesn't want to do something than to be forced into it by peer group pressure from others. This is not the sort of thing you want to do unless you're 100% certain that you know what you're doing, and also that you understand the risks that you're taking. I am taking a bit of a risk. I've done it before. I wouldn't recommend it for a lot of people though. Whew. Well, I made it. Knees are like jelly, and I'm sweating a bit. I think I'm getting too old for this caper. I think Bushy might have made the right decision, but those fish are still there. Well, I tell you what, folks, it's not too often that I can confidently predict that I'm going to hook a fish on my very first cast, but I'd take money on this one. Out goes the lure. Yeah, and I've got him! Oh, took about 6 turns of the handle, I guess, after the lure hit the water, before the first hard-fighting Australian salmon just climbed all over it. I tell you what, I've fished some magnificent places all over the world, but I can't think of too many that would top this one in terms of the backdrop, the sheer beauty and grandeur of the place, and the quality of fishing. This fish I've got on, he's coming into the surf now. Woo! Come on, fella. I'll get him in that wave. Up the beach he comes. Just use the power of the water. Don't fight the water. If he does that, it starts to run back. Sometimes you've got to let him go. They're so lively. Beautiful fish. I'll bleed him out and he'll be great for the table.
Stevie, 50 metres, 2 o'clock.
Okay. Oh yes, I see him there. Here they come after it. Look at him go, look at him go. Oh, the whole sea is alive with it. I'm keeping it ahead of him and I couldn't. Oh, he's running like crazy. I actually tried to get the lure away from the fish and it was impossible. There's a lesson there for people who wind too slowly with their lures. Oh, I think he spat it. I might be able to get it away from him. No, another one got it. People who wind too slowly and they think, oh, the fish won't catch it if I go really fast. I'll tell you something. There isn't a predatory fish in the sea that can't catch the fastest lure if it really wants it.
Now this is an absolute last-ditch pathetic effort to catch a fish at Tulini Cove. I'm going to cast off this cliff. I don't even know whether I'll reach the water, but here goes. I can't even watch it going. This could be the longest cast I've ever done. It's still going. Got there. I can't. This is too bad.
Well, I think this might fall into the category of biting off more than you can chew. There's been a shark in here terrorising this school of salmon that I'm fishing for. So I put one of the smaller salmon on and just threw him back in the surf, and within seconds the shark came in and I could see him hunting the salmon, and then bang, he hit it. And now I'm hooked up to quite a decent whaler shark, and I think it's just too much animal for this gear, but it's a lot of fun. Oh. I got him at the moment anyway. Come away from the rocks, you bugger. There he goes, out through the surf. He might have spat it. Well, folks, he jumped out of the water and threw the bait. Well, that's what he did to my bait. And you can see there by the size of each individual tooth hole and the size of the bite radius that he was a pretty decent shark. That was a lot of fun. I might have to try that again.
Here he comes. He's after it.
Oh, he's chasing another salmon. Oh, he bit my balloon. He's got the balloon. I don't think he's got it. He missed it again.
That's it.
Shark. Big shark coming in. He's on the attack run. Okay, he's got him. Whoa, what a take! Woo-hoo-hoo. I think I'm getting a nibble. I don't think he's got it. Leave the balloon alone. Oh, I think he's got him this time. You have got to be kidding. He's eaten the balloon. He ate the balloon as well.
I hate that. He's hooked him up.
Yes, sirree. He has definitely got the bait. Just let him get it down a little bit. He's swimming around out there looking for another one now. Probably time to set the hook. Let everything come tight. And yes! Oh boy! Oh, he doesn't like that. He does not like that at all. Oh, I can feel the big head shakes. He's trying to get rid of it. He's trying to throw that bait out of his mouth. Suddenly he's realised that salmon he ate is just not quite kosher, and he's trying to get rid of it. We're only using fairly small hooks, and I'm hitting these sharks quite early because I'm trying to get a jaw hook up so that I can release them. I don't really want to hurt them. I'm not looking for a big, deep hook up with large hooks or anything. Oh, this is good fun. Big run. Whoa, he's a bit of a runner, this one. Just trying to use the waves to roll him towards me, this shark. Oh, he's got other ideas though. This shark is way out over the back of the bar into deep water now. The biggest problem I've got is if the line finds a rock or something out there, it'll just cut straight through. Oh, he's got a lot of line out now. I sound a bit short of breath, it's because I am. This has been a fairly torrid little encounter. This is not normally the sort of thing you'd try to do single-handed, but it certainly makes it a challenge. It's me against the shark. I can just get his head pointed up the beach, but he keeps wanting to point it back out, which is hardly surprising. You hold the rod. I'll go in and trace him.
I don't want to break it.
No, you'll be right. if you just keep it down fairly low,
Yeah.
you can put your thumb on it a little bit, but if it really pulls, just let it slide off. Don't put too much on it. You can wind a little bit if you get a chance, but don't pull. And if I say so, just point it at him and let go of the line.
Come on.
Well, we got him. I got him now. What I'm going to do now, oh, I can actually get the hook out, it's right here. As you can see, he's a fair-sized shark, he's about as long as me. Come on, fella, out you go. You ready? Go! Well, definitely looks like we're back in civilization, Bushy.
Unfortunately.
Back out on the blacktop. We've just done about 700 kilometres through one of the most remote parts of Australia, and we've seen some outstanding sights, haven't we, mate?
I think that's one of the best trips I've ever done, I'd have to say. It just blew me away.
What was the highlight for you?
Well, I think the real highlight was that huge sand dune. And getting on that piece of polished board, mate, that was just terrific.
But what about all the sharks and the salmon at Tulini Cove?
Well, that would be one of the best places I've almost been, I have to say.
Almost been, I love it. Look, seriously, folks, we have seen some wonderful things, and it's just the most remote place you could get to, and to see the fish still in their natural state, we really need to look after places like this.
I don't know whether Steve and Bushy I'll get. They told me they were going to meet me on number 4 island on some big white boat. There's a white boat over there. Hey, they didn't say it was a big white boat, that's a single lady.
Come on, mate. We better go and do some fishing. He's here. John Pearce, how are you, mate?
G'day, mate. Nice to see you. Bushy.
Hey, John.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. We're leaving a bit of style behind here, but we're coming into another
You're
bit
going
of
to have
style.
to come down one class.
Yeah.
One class.
I'll tell you what, John, it's nice to be back on board.
That's good to have you, mate.
I'm here on the real hooker at the Similan Islands off Thailand, and I've caught up again with my old mate, John Pearce, who's the skipper and owner of this beautiful vessel. Mate, we're heading out fishing today. You've been telling me about this seamount. What are they catching out there?
Well, we've been lucky enough. We've had a few small black marlin there, certainly some wahoo, schooling yellowfin, and definitely a sailfish.
Sounds pretty good to me. Let's get going.
Good, let's go, mate.
Get some gear ready. We've come about an hour out into the Andaman Sea from the Similan Islands to a seamount, and as the name implies, that's a submerged mountaintop. Comes up out of very deep water to a relatively shallow peak, and it's a prime bit of fish real estate, a fantastic structural element that attracts all sorts of fish. As you can see, we're not alone. That's a local tuna boat that would have shot its Pearce seine nets last night around a school of yellowfin tuna, and that's what we're here chasing today, yellowfin tuna and wahoo. But Bushy, we've got the bases pretty well covered, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got some large marlin lures on the outriggers, maybe a tuna will eat those as well. And on the inside rods, we've got bibless minnows and deep running lures. So whatever comes along, it could be chaos.
And just to add to the chaos, we've also got casting lures. So once we hook up and we've stopped the boat, we can throw these metal lures out and rapidly retrieve them as well. We should be able to get into some real mayhem today if we can find a couple of schools of these fish.
The director's going to love this one.
Well, this is only a little fish, little tuna of some sort, I'd say. It's hit quite a large lure. Yeah, it's a little skipjack. Now, these things are found throughout the oceans of the world. They're one of the most prolific of the tuna species. Skipjack tuna, until fairly recently in Australia, better known as striped tuna. And you can see why, the stripes there on the belly. Beautiful iridescent purples on the back. And these things are eaten by just about every large predatory fish in the sea, from sharks to big tuna to marlin and wahoo. They're the reason we're fishing this area. The top of this seamount attracts a lot of fish like this. They come here to eat the really small bait fish, and the big predators that we're after come to chase fish like this skipjack. So we're on the right track.
A little tacker, but gee, they're still a great colour.
Must have been a couple there, eh? Because I think that other outrigger got hit as well.
There was a hit on that right outrigger. Whoa!
Tell you what, there was a hit on this just then while we were...
Real acrobats, aren't they?
Look at that in that blue water. What a beautiful fish. Oh, they are just like a neon light, and they can change their colours so quickly. These dolphin fish are one of the fastest growing fish in the sea. This little fish is probably only, definitely less than a year old, and they can grow to 15, 20 kilos in just a couple of years. The scientists think they've got a lifespan of probably only about 4 years, and they've got the potential to reach as much as 30 kilos or more in that time. Look at the blue there in the leading edge of the pectoral fins, and those little dots that are just haloed with bright blue. Fantastic fish. Too pretty to kill, actually. I think we'll pop this one back in the water, much as the crew would like to keep him and eat him. He's off like a shot. Now, usually where there's one of those, there's more. What do you reckon, Bushy?
I think mine's a little tuna, probably a little stripey or something.
Yeah, me too.
Skipjack, I'd say.
You got the heavier gear, you'll get yours in quicker, I think.
Well, let's see what happens. Feels like a striped tuna though. Come on, fish.
See the silver flashes there, he looks great.
Yeah, I might leave him there for a minute. Something large might come and monster him. Come on, fish. I think I drew the short straw here, Steve. There's about 10 lures with hooks on here between me and that fish. This is what you call Thai roulette.
Pretty effective rig though, the old daisy chain, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, little jelly bean one. I'll give this to the crew. And they can put him away for some bait. Thanks, John.
Turning him upside down, quieten him down. Okay.
I'll just show you this daisy chain rig. I've made a bit of a mess of it here, but the way this works is that many of these tuna are following along and they're used to attacking bait fish in a school. So what this does, there's a whole lot of little squids here tied onto our trace, all with hooks, and they look more natural. They look like a whole school of little fish, and that's much more likely to make the tuna come up and attack them. And if you're after bait, half a dozen tuna at a time is much better than one. So it's a good little trick, the daisy chain. Just be really careful when you're pulling them in because you can hook yourself. That's the only detriment with that rig.
Well, here's mine, Bushy.
Right.
And I'm using an interesting rig here too. It's working on the same kind of principle of trying to create the impression that there's a lot of things happening there. This is called a bird teaser. As you can see, it's got little wings, looks a bit like a bird, and it flutters along on the surface, makes a real commotion and imitates other fish feeding or whatever. Just creates a lot of excitement. And about 2 metres behind it, 2.5 metres behind it, is one of these jet head lures with a chrome metal head and a skirt and a single hook. And as you can see, the little skipjack tuna has nailed that. He's probably been initially attracted by the skittering of that bird teaser, and then he spotted the little pink squid racing along behind it, and without any hesitation at all, he's hit it. Things are definitely starting to happen out here. I like to see bait like this in the area. I reckon we're in with a good showing here, Bushy.
Yep, any luck, the next one will be a big one.
Sailfish, I got a good look at it. Woo! Oh, look at him go! Okay, go back slowly. That's it.
That's more like it, Steve.
Oh boy. It's all happening here, folks. Pretty sure this is a big sailfish. It could be a marlin, but I got a pretty good look at it when it hit the lure and came out of the water. And I think it's a rather large sailfish. You can hear it taking line. We're clearing all the other lines. Once we get everything clear, I can get to work on this fish.
What a beauty. Woohoo! That is a thumper, Steve.
Where's he hooked? Top of the head.
That's a tricky one.
Oh no, just caught up, he's lassoed in the trace. It's a very big sailfish.
That is a big sail.
Oh, yeah,
no, he's
no,
right through the mouth on one side.
He's lassoed himself, which is, he may not be all that well hooked, Bushy.
He's hooked through the mouth, okay?
Yeah.
One hook's all right.
Bushy, get his tail this way.
If I can.
Woo! Let go, Bushy!
Let it go. He's away, that stirred him up.
That's what you've got to watch for. As soon as Bushy grabbed hold of the leader, the fish came to life and took off. Bushy let go of the leader and it came flying out of the water. It's hooked in the mouth and actually got a turn of the leader around the top of its head and through its dorsal fin. And now it's playing up a bit. Okay, you can see the top of the trace or leader coming out of the water there now. That's the swivel. We've only got about a 2 metre leader. There we go. He's finally rolled on his side for the first time. Shows he is getting a bit tired. Bushy's got the leader. He'll let it go if he has to. Got the fish here beside the boat. Got to be a little bit careful of their bill here. Watch him, Bushy.
I'm watching.
That bill is very sharp. You don't want to get in front of it when one of these things jumps. Right, now we're going to quickly lift him up on the side and show him to you.
Oh, big one.
It's a very big sailfish. Roll him that way, guys, and I'll lift the sail. Now you can see that the leader did split his fin here. That's an injury that he will recover from. There's been many sailfish tagged and released with splits in their fins and recovered. He's in good condition. He's a big, long sailfish with the bars and everything here. Let's get him back in the water and swim him for a little bit, Bushy. Now what we're doing is swimming this fish, getting the water going through his gills again. He's pretty tired. Got that split fin, but he's okay. He's not bleeding profusely. His tail's going. As soon as John thinks that he's okay, he's just going to let him go and he'll take off. It's amazing how many fish have been tagged in this condition and recovered a year, 2 years, 3 years later. They've got remarkable powers of recuperation.
I think he's ready.
Okay, mate, send him on his way.
See you.
And down he dives.
We're there.
Well, that's what it's all about, an Andaman Sea sailfish. And what beautiful conditions to catch one in. Worked up a little bit of a sweat, but I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy.
Well, folks, it's Yibbida Yibbida time again. We'll see you again.